Welcome back to Girl Meet Game, and today we're going to be talking about the humble, not so humble PC. I'm not talking about just any computer, of course. I'm talking about your gaming PC. Da-da-da! There's pros and cons to having a gaming PC, which is exactly what I'll delve into. Picking a gaming medium is already a hard decision as it is when it comes to just your consoles like Xbox or PlayStation or even Nintendo. But the PC, it deserves an episode of its own because it's a beast. The gaming PC is a beast to tackle, and I am here to help navigate the path. Let's start with the good things because I like to start with the positives in life. Pros of having a gaming PC. They are longer lasting gaming power-wise. In other words, they will be relevant in gaming terms for a longer amount of time. You spend, let's say, the same amount on a gaming PC that you would spend on a brand new console, usually $500 or $600. You spend that money on your gaming PC, and the components that you can get for your gaming PC will be relevant to, I'd say, at least the next generation. And that's just a safe assumption from what I've seen. The other thing is, it's multifunctional. It's still a computer. You can still go online, you can still check your email, you can still work if you work from a computer. You can still do all that because it is still a computer. It just happens to have a graphics card to make it a gaming PC. Pro tip, I think that is one of the most important things in a gaming PC. What makes a gaming PC is the graphics card. The next pro is you only need to replace things as you use it up or as it dies. When something stops working on your console, even if it's just been a heartbreaking month since you got the console, you have to buy a whole new console. Because if you try to open up your console and you don't know what you're doing and you mess it up, you're just gonna have something that just doesn't work. Now that can still happen with your PC, but everything in a PC is compartmentalized. You can take out just one piece. On a console, you can't just take out one piece. Not only does opening it void warranty, they solder things on and make the metal so you can't even move them. It's just a hot mess when you try to do that with your console. But on your PC, if, let's say, your hard drive is full, well, you can just put another hard drive inside your PC, and it's a done deal. Now you have more space. While on your console, there's no way you can put another thing inside of it because it simply has room for what it was built with in the first place. You can't add anything else. The next thing is better sales. PC, and Steam in particular, have so much better sales on games than you can find on console. Yes, the Microsoft Store and PlayStation Store might have sales around Black Friday or specific other points, but on PC, if you're a gamer on the budget, you can get humble bundles, which is multiple games for a short or sometimes no price at all. You can go to Steam and get 70% off a game you like. There's even this feature on Steam that you can put your game on your wish list, and that wish list feature will send you an email when the game that you want is on sale. And it's not just any sale. Usually when they send these emails, it's 70% off, 90% off. I've seen so many of my Steam wishlist games go on 90% off. And when you want to get into games and you want to have a different variety in your library, PC PC is just the easier way. Like, that's the no-brainer choice if you want the better sales. Now, if you're a aspiring streamer, girl, get yourself a PC. The streaming experience is going to be way better than on console because, first of all, I believe on console you can only stream to Twitch specifically. Now, that is the most popular streaming service, but PC gives you a little bit more variety and you can have everything kind of more how you want it. You can troubleshoot kind of way easier and keep the stream of the stream going for a longer time without any complications. Because if you're streaming on a console and something like glitches out, or you need to step out, or just whatever the case may be, it's gonna mess with your stream because it's hard to even check the chat on the stream on systems, from my understanding. Getting back to the gamer experience though, keyboard and mouse are more precise. Now, for the longest time, I refused to think that a keyboard and mouse is easier to use than my Xbox One controller. My Xbox One controller did everything I wanted. It was snappy enough for me. It had everything there. I didn't have to worry about two different things at the same time. While I 100% admit that I'm still trying to get a hang of my WASD, which is what you use to move, and my mouse to like do actions and press certain letters for things. Like, it's definitely a learning curve, but it is definitely more precise. The PC has the most precise things going on in games that I've ever experienced. I haven't played a shooter yet, but the games I have played are very much just like, it's easy. It's something you have to experience. If you're serious about investing in a gaming PC, I suggest you go somewhere. If you have a micro center near you, go there, talk to one of the reps, play with some of the mouse and key, like with the responsiveness, and even watch videos on YouTube. Like, really dig into it because it is something to behold. This, hands down, this last point I have for the positive side of this is hands down one of my favorite things. How many times can I say hands down? Hands down. It is one of my favorite things, which is RGB lighting. I want to put RGB on every part of my life. RGB is colors. You can have your computer light up different colors. You can have your keyboard light up different colors. You could have your components light up different colors. It's just colors. Like, my dream right now is I want to RGB my whole setup for my PC all pink. It makes it so much more appealing to want to turn on your PC and play games when all the stuff that you plug into your PC lights up with color. Maybe it's a me thing, but I think it could be a you thing too. Like, don't slack on RGB colors because they're a lot of fun. And yes, you can get LED strips, but some of those you need the remote to change the color. Everything about RGB is built into the system that you could just click on something and change the colors. Make it do rainbows, make it fit your mood. You can do whatever. The possibilities are literally endless. Oh, we've come to the negatives. Not somewhere I like to dwell, but I'll do it for you. The first negative is it is expensive to start. Now, I did say that you can get the same as a console quality gaming experience with a PC for the same price. But if you want to exclusively game on PC, if you want that to be your main medium, if you want the best experience on there, it's not uniform like it is on consoles. you're gonna have to spend the big bucks. I think it was the GTX 1080, which is the graphics card. When it first came out, cost somewhere around $800 to $900. $800 to $900 to get. And that's just one component. If you want things like that have to do with your CPU, well, a good CPU is going to cost you $100 or $200 more than you might have been expecting to pay. And RGB is also going to cost you. So one of those pros is going to cost you a con. You know what I'm saying? It's all about balance here. The next con is that, like I said earlier, keyboard or mouse takes some getting used to. If you're playing something like Overwatch or anything where there's a lot of shooting involved and there's a lot of moving around involved and there's special powers and things, like a lot of things to manage, the transition to keyboard and mouse could be a frustrating one because you're used to pressing 1 or 2 buttons and that might go to like 5 to 8 buttons. Like there's no way to know. And it might damper on your experience and it might make you feel like you're gaming different. But it's not necessarily that you're gaming different, is that the keyboard and mouse have kind of a high learning curve. So that is something you definitely want to take into consideration, especially if you're going all maxed out. That being said, the games that you download to your computer, you really have to be careful. Yes, there is Steam and yes, there is Humble Bundle, but those are the only 2 sources that I feel are safe, that I can safely recommend to you from one beginner to another. Is definitely just stick to those, because the PC ain't always a, pretty place, and there's people who want to do bad things, and there's people who pirate games, and you might see, free version of this game that just came out. And it's really tempting to be like, yeah, I want to check out this game, and I really, really can't get it right now, but everyone's talking about how awesome this game is. I need to know how awesome this game is. But you have to be really careful, because sometimes if a game's not on Steam or if it's not on Humble Bundle, and let's say they have their own website, someone else, a hacker or something, can plant in that same link some malware or some virus or something that can take your information. And if, let's say, you spend money on cosmetics, or even if you do online shopping, all your information could be at risk if you're not careful with like the games that you download. The other thing, speaking of games, is you do need to kind of have a bit more technical prowess than just turn on and play. One of the best things about a console is you press that button, you grab your controller, your game comes up. Pick your game from your library, come up. With PC, there's a bit more steps. You have to turn on your computer, your library is probably longer, so you're going to anguish over what game to play. And let's say you had your settings optimized, but you didn't save them, or the game is being weird and you want to turn down the settings or try to fix it, then you have to start doing a lot of fiddling. If a game isn't working the way it's supposed to when you first boot it up on a system, you just exit it out and pull it back up and usually the problem is solved. With PC, it's a little more like hands-on. It's a little bit more research and experimenting to get it to work just the way you want it, or even the way you're used to. The final con, and the one that probably is gonna hurt more than anything else, is these days, you have to wait longer for ports of game to come to PC. When you see a new game announced, when you watch a game trailer, even old ones, it says at the bottom the things that they're there for. Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Nintendo, Steam. You think to yourself, yes, it's coming to Steam. But when the release date hits, and all your console friends are playing right when the game came out, you're sitting on your computer because you realized that the PC release didn't have a date, or the PC release is a different date than the rest of the quote-unquote launch date. It's heartbreaking. That's the most heartbreaking part of gaming, especially since once you start to game on PC, you kind of get spoiled in different ways, and you'll like gaming in a certain experience with your high refresh rates and your great graphics and things like that, and you're gonna have to take the L and wait on that stuff. I am not a patient person. If I want to play a game, I want to play it when it comes out, or play it way later after it comes out. There is no in between. So those are all the things I want you to consider before you go into getting your own gaming PC. Now, if you are part of the gaming PC gamers, if I missed anything, please do let me know. I'd love to add to it or come back and converse with you about it somewhere else, because PC gaming is even more new to me than gaming as a whole. So, PC gaming, everyone. All that being said, I really hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I hope you tune in for next time. GG.